Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to the Novice Legendary Recap episodes. Now, this time is actually a lot different because this time I was the DM. I was running the show. I was in charge. And we weren't even playing D&D. So this is something that we've been trying to work out for a while. I just started getting this itch to run, even just like a one shot of the old Alternity game. I've talked about it on my channel before. Here's a picture of the lovely player's handbook. And it took us a while to actually get to it because of scheduling difficulties. And then last week we were going to do it, but then it was Easter, and pretty much everybody had family things. And I just decided, we'll just push it off a week. And this past Sunday, showed up, and I was kind of debating because one of the players hadn't showed up, but we didn't hear anything from him at all. To be fair, I may not have been the most communicative of the fact that we were playing. The only notice that they got was when I said we'll push it back a week last week. And then when our regular DM said, there was a little bit of communication, but maybe enough, and who knows, maybe it just was a bad week anyways for everybody to do it. But I decided to just kind of go ahead with the people that I had on hand. Because, the last time I'd run this particular adventure, there was only one person, there was only one person playing. And she's over that way, and she was just like popping her collar. Yeah, she did it for real. So, anyways, what we did was I ran them through the quick play adventure at the beginning of the Dark Matter campaign setting book. And for those of you who don't happen to know what this is like honestly this is one of the coolest RPG settings that I've picked up. Granted, I only have a pretty limited selection because it's pretty much this Star Drive, which is a political space opera that's also an Alternity setting, and like 3 or 4 of the setting books for Savage Worlds. But this is the one that had me the most excited, and the into the introductory adventure that they have in the first chapter. It's called Exit 23. Is probably one of my favorite pre-written adventures that I've actually gotten to read through so far. I've read through a few of them, even if I don't actually run them. Anyways, there will be spoilers for this adventure in this video. So, if you have not actually played this adventure in any kind of rule set at all, and you're looking to do it in the near future, you should probably just go ahead and stop now. But for those of you who maybe have or don't care, just like I haven't played this, I don't really necessarily intend to. Just let me know what happened in the game, and also for those who will be joining in with this side campaign that's going to be starting up. More details on that later. Go ahead and listen in. Watch and listen on this so you have some idea what had actually happened. So you're not completely, in the dark. What's a bit of what's going on. So, anyways, this adventure is set in a rest stop along, I believe it was Highway 90 in Idaho. Let me see here. I'm pretty dang sure that's what it is. It's also called the White River Station, and I'm pretty sure it was somewhere on. It even said it was somewhere on Highway 90. I may be mistaken. Yep, I-90 near Exit 23 in Idaho. Anyways, geography doesn't matter, but I did look it up on a map, and there's real places like way up in the northern part of Idaho. But again, like I said, geography isn't super important to this. So, anyways, the players' characters are motorists with varying professions who are stranded in this truck stop way up in northern Idaho in the middle of a really nasty blizzard. Blizzard. And um, they're stuck here with an agent of the Hoffman Institute, which is this organization that is devoted to investigating paranormal phenomenon and conspiracies and such like, as well as some crazy cultist who's trying to retrieve an object from this agent of the institute. And of course, the players have no idea this is going on. The whole thing, this is the whole idea of the dark matter campaign setting, is that it's just like a big horror mystery kind of thing. Think X Files, because basically X Files are RPG. Uh, so the whole adventure is them trying to piece together what had happened and actually fend off this cultist and this crazy ice demon thing that he supposedly had summoned to help him retrieve this object that was stolen from the estate of his deceased master and whatnot. So, anyways, what happened is we had two characters. One of both of these were pre-generated, so one of them was actually played by our DM for our regular D&D game. This was kind of the whole idea of me doing this. Was this gentleman who was like a professor of linguistics and whatnot, who also happened to have a very intense, almost, I would dare say, obsessive interest in the occult. And with him was this guy who's been living in Idaho most of his life. Was kind of your usual like anti-government militia guy, and it was actually a lot of fun playing some of the NPCs reacting to his tirades against the government and whatnot. And so, anyways, they begin by investigating some some sounds that emanate from another part of the rest stop, and it turns out that there is one, possibly two dead bodies. They do manage to the militia guy does manage to stabilize the one person who could have possibly have died, who also, as they found out, was an agent of the institute. And as they were going about, kind of figuring out what's going on, trying to secure the area and everything, they eventually they actually run into the cultist as he is trying to sneak into the convenience store. And what they did not know, and if you guys are watching now, you'll get to know what part of the story we wound up kind of bypassing, but it worked out really well. This guy was going into the convenience store to kind of start a fire to kind of smoke everybody out of the building so he could search for this object, this snow globe, for himself. Anyways, what eventually winds up happening is this guy gets restrained and disarmed by the militiaman after several attempts by both to try and tackle him and keep him from shooting and everything. And after a little interrogation that included the occult professor threatening to destroy this snow globe, and I suppose I should back up track a little bit. So the snow globe was like a evil magic, an evil artifact that strangely enough has like an exact replica of the rest stop, like on the inside, and it was just constantly flurrying snow. You didn't have to shake it or anything, and it never settled. So anyhow, uh, they have this interrogation. They find out that this thing is like a really important thing. That's the whole reason why this guy was in the rest stop to begin with, why this is all happening. And the guy decides, I can't light my fire. I don't have my gun. but I do have my ice demon thing. So he calls him in. It winds up being this big fight, and it kind of breaks out in the lobby of the rest stop. And here's one of those great things. One of the great things about tabletop role playing games is one, the players are pretty much almost are basically guaranteed to kind of go off script, as it were, and come up with solutions to problems that the original author of the adventure, whether that be somebody who actually wrote something for uh, specifically for a book, or even the GM, wouldn't have thought of. So one of the things that was already covered in here is how much damage a thing of aerosol spray can do if you do the aerosol and a lighter. I mean, keep your hand down if you've never done that before. I bet you there's a lot of hands that are still up. So, anyways, our DM is playing this occult professor. He went this far, went that far. I was like, okay, I think I know where he's going with this. And then he goes, this is going to sound crazy and just kind of out there, but I want to find as much powdered coffee creamer as I can. And we're just like, wait, what the heck? He's like, yeah, it's super flammable. They've, they proved it on MythBusters, and even included a link to the video in the chat, which I still need to watch. But going off of his judgment, because I was like, all right, this we'll roll with it. This plan of his pretty much just winds up one-shotting the ice demon after a couple failed attempts to shoot the darn thing. Not only that, but it causes a lot of extra damage to this cultist, who also happened to be in the lobby when the big fireball of powdered coffee creamer went up. So, anyways, after the smoke had settled and they found out that there was no more blizzard and everything had calmed down. They'd called all the civilians, as it were, out of their shelters within the back of this donut shop and everything. And the militiaman goes to recuperate, while the professor goes to continue interrogating and picking the brain of the cultist. And without really spoiling anything too much, I don't think, the cultist dies under mysterious circumstances. After all was said and done, the Institute agent recovers, and he has this chat with the professor, and he was too weak to really grill him too much about it. So everything basically ended with the player characters agreeing to join this agent on his journey back to Portland, and possibly even start working with the Institute. And that's pretty much where we left off. And after the game was over, we had a discussion, about the rules, and it's like, yeah, it's little, it took a little bit to get used to, because I mean, Alternity is a bit different. The classic Alternity, I haven't tried the new one yet, and I was like, well, how did you enjoy this? How did you like the story and everything? And our DM was just like, this was great. I want to see where my character goes with all of this. We need to make this like a side campaign. So we worked it out and decided that at the very last week of each month is going to be Dark Matter Week, where I will be GMing a little side campaign for everybody who's interested, where we continue this story along. So yeah, so this is a combination recap episode and, hey, I am doing a thing. And along with this thing, I've figured it'd probably be good to even do like a weekly vlog of some kind, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. I don't really know the timing of it, but anyways, just kind of a bit of a breakdown of how I am running this side campaign without any spoilers, which means I'm probably going to need to actually start doing some editing instead of just free flowing these videos. So yeah, you can definitely look forward to those. I'm excited because this will be the first time I've actually run a campaign in a long time. It's probably I imagine it'll probably go a lot further than my previous efforts because there are a lot more interested parties now, and we have a schedule set, which has always been one of my biggest weaknesses as a GM. So yes, there will be probably in future streams you'll see me GMing the sessions and everything. And by all means, ask questions in the comments of this video, on Twitter, emails, all that good stuff. The drill. And you can also look forward to seeing a little bit about how I'm trying to organize and run this thing, and probably even be throwing in some tips and things that I've started picking up along the way. So this will be kind of like the old tips and tricks episodes and whatnot, except instead of being from a player's perspective, it's going to be GMs. So it's probably going to be a bit of both, and there will continue to be recap episodes of the D&D sessions, starting with the next one that starting next week. So that's all I've got for you tonight. So enjoy and happy gaming.